Hello, hello, welcome to another Guess the Move. Guess the Move. Let me fix this. There's a little bit of black background on there. Is that nicer? It should be. There's a little bit on the left, but it's alright. Yeah, it's been about 7 or 10 days since my last video. And yeah, sorry for the delay, just kind of getting things, I don't know, trying to get around to get the motivation to make these, because it takes some time to put together. But today's Guess the Move is going to be the Opera game, a very famous game with Paul Morphy versus the Duke of Brunswick and the Count Isourde. Don't really know the history behind the Duke of Brunswick and the Count Isourde. But yeah, the Guess the Move game will begin on move 4-ish. And I'm going to do it a little bit different than last time. I'm not going to sit here and think about what move I would play in front of you guys. I've already done that. I've sat down. I've played Guess the Move by myself. And we're going to now analyze it together. So Paul Morphy likes to play e4. It typically leads to a lot of open lines and open games. So he's just a big e4 player. And, now he's developing knight. It comes with a threat on the pawn. So now they have to protect it. That's fine. That's a book move. And then this is also a book move, striking at the center, right? I don't know if takes is best. It's one of the best moves. Another good move is developing knight to f6 or developing one of your other knights. So this is where the first kind of inaccuracy, a dubious move, if you will, is played. And because now we can go here, and if they were to take here, we go here, right? Take their queen. They have to take the queen back, or else they're playing down a queen, which would be, well, actually I don't have a choice, because if not it would be they're in check. And now you go here, right, and you're making this double threat to either take the bishop or to take the pawn. So they can't allow that. So anyway, Paul Morphy captures here in the center, right, taking advantage kind of this bishop that was overextended, and taking here was a mistake. Knight to c6, just kind of playing down a pawn would have been better. Let me see if I can turn off these little move classification. Yeah, I don't want those on. But anyway, it's a mistake to take here, and this is where the Guess the Move begins. How should you recapture the bishop on f3? And I won't give you don't need that long. I'm hoping that you did not say captures with the pawn. It's bad for a couple of reasons. One, you're exposing this file. We don't really know if the king wants to castle this side or this side. But either way, we've kind of already developed here. It looks like we may want to castle this side. It's not good to double up pawns, right? So you should have said captures with the queen. It should be the more natural move to you. You shouldn't have to think about it that much. Right, so he captures back. And so now, what moves do you see? And again, I'll give you a few seconds, and then I'll tell you the move that I made. The move that I made was knight to c3, and that's fine. It's typically a general principle, right, to develop knights before bishops, but chess, the general principle of chess is not to play with general principles, even though there are like some, right? It's all nuanced and based kind of on, the situation, the nuances in the position and the situation at hand. And with what I've learned about grandmasters is when they play, almost every single one of their moves come with a threat of some sort. So with that in mind, Paul Morphy makes a checkmate threat. This pawn is weak, and now he's making a threat, right? Queen to b3 also would have been a decent try, just to kind of take advantage of the weakness in the light squares, right? How, like, I don't know, he'd probably have to play this move, and then you can still play this move, coming in like this, and you may have ideas of getting the bishop on here, taking advantage of. Again, this is why that trading off the light square bishop was a mistake and probably not a good move to even play it out here in the first place, and Paul Morphy takes advantage of that. So yeah, he plays this move, bishop to c3, and now go ahead. Okay, so this is the response, stopping the checkmate threat. So now go ahead and guess the next move. I'll give you about 3 seconds. My move was to castle. It seems like a good idea just to go ahead and get your king to safety, but there's a tactical opportunity here that's a little bit stronger. And yeah. So okay, let's go over some of the candidate moves. I hope you didn't say this move. It looks like maybe there's something, but it's too much too soon, because after you take here with check, the king takes, you go to b3 check, the king like drops back, right? You take here, you're like, oh, you know, I'm threatening to win this, I'll win the knight. Yeah, but after knight to d7, you don't really have anything. The king's pretty safe. You have this nice little knight structure in here. Queens are on the board. You can move your knight out here maybe at some point, threatening. Like, it's too much too soon. It's barbaric. So I hope you didn't say that. Bishop to g5 is kind of the same as my developing move of just castling. Again, not a bad move. It's actually the second best move in the position. But there's a tactical opportunity here to take advantage. And that move is, like we just saw before, queen to b3. You're taking advantage of the fact that this light square bishop is not protecting this pawn, and the fact that you have a battery now formed with the queen and the bishop eyeing the f7 square. And so now the Count Isourde, the Duke of Brunswick, they're trying to think, you know, well, I don't think that we can allow them to take f7 check. That would be disastrous, coupled with the queen coming in. So they decide to defend that. Okay, you know, that's the best move in this position. But yeah, so now go ahead, guess the next move. Well, if you guessed here, then you have guessed the best move, but it's not what was played in the game. Paul Morphy, and the reason why is because it leads down into this line where you take with the queen, and now they have this move, right? Trading off queens, and yes, you're up a pawn. Yes, you're up a pawn. And you have to even, like, I don't know, even defend like this, right? And they can take here, you take here, and they can't actually take it back. So you're up a pawn, your structure's better, you are winning as white, and this is the best line, actually, to go down. But that's not how Paul Morphy liked to play. He liked to play with his pieces. He didn't want to make unnecessary trades early on. He thought, my pieces are weapons, I'm going to use them against you. I'm, you know, more trained, better with it, better using them, I'm more comfortable with this. So Paul Morphy plays a developing move of knight to, well, actually, hang on. He plays knight to c3 in the game. But I want to show you another interesting line. Is the computer doesn't like this, but this move here, and after here, you know, it looks actually okay. They have this move c5, and they're actually having to give up, which I'm not sure a lot of people would find this. They're actually, and if you take here, they just castle, and I guess they're getting a lot of pressure on this. I guess you could go. Could you? Oh no, of course not. The knight is blocking it. So anyway, it's a neat try. It's a neat try. I just thought that was kind of cool because it looks like a sacrifice, right? But it's really not in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, castling is fine. It's the engine's third most move here. Again, just developing. Same with bishop to g5, but again, after this, after we force the queens off the board, the position's just a little bit dull, and I think you even have to, no, you can play c3 here, and like bishop to e7 looks good. And yeah, now the position's dull. Now the computer says you're exactly equal, whereas white had a +2 advantage. And so developing the knight is the engine's second most move, and it's what Paul Morphy chose to play. So we see this, and so they push c6. What is the point of c6? c6 is to defend these critical squares for our knight to jump in on, as well as offering protection of the b7 pawn, right? So it's a multi-purpose move, a good move, actually. And so how do we continue? You might say castle, and again, that's fine, but in this position with this open d file, maybe we want to castle queenside at some point, right? Yeah, I do do you, let's see, you don't have, no, this move doesn't work on move 9. Sorry, I gotta flip my paper. I wrote these all down. Yeah, and my move actually was bishop to e3. And, you know, that's it's a fine move. It's the engine's second move. But there's a stronger move here. And it's actually developing this move bishop to g5. And, you know, castling for the... We don't necessarily know, and it's helping us to... Maybe we want to castle here and take advantage of this open d-file. As well as putting a pin on the knight, right? We're kind of like... Paul Morphy is like kind of constricting around these pieces here, as we'll see in the game. So we get bishop to g5. They respond with b5, which is a bit of an inaccuracy, but it looks like, okay, you know, now this bishop has nowhere to go. And now, can you find the move? And this is kind of the crux. This is the whole attack starts here. My move, the first thing that came to mind was, oh, maybe we can take with the bishop, and maybe we'll get some compensation, right? That's the first thing that came to my mind. But taking with the bishop here, we actually end up in an equal game. You'll get 3 pawns, probably, or, you know, something of that nature in return. If we take with here, and then... Actually, we're supposed to play d5 immediately, and if we play here, they have queen to d7. And now, you know, you're not so good as white because you've traded off all your pieces. So if you play this move, it's a bit stronger. Queen to b7 here is the best. And you can play here, and now you just argue that they have no king safety. You know, you can maybe go here, threaten this, or actually you even take back here with check. And the position's equal here. So yeah, that was my first idea when I saw this. But there's a stronger move, and it is taking with the knight, right? Why lose your strong bishop when you can take with the knight? If they take back, you take with check. Right, and so yeah. Anyway, this is a brilliant move from Paul Morphy, and they do take back. And so maybe I gave it away, but I think, you know, it should be kind of obvious that you should be taking back with the bishop. You shouldn't take with the queen. Again, it's one of those things like bishop takes on b5 should just be more of a natural move to you. Like, it should just feel more natural, involving more pieces, right? Kind of, I don't know. You're not putting your queen here, and also, like, if you put your queen there, then what's stopping them just from blocking with their queen? And now you trade off queens, and once you trade off pieces, you don't really have much of an attack anymore. So again, there are times when you want to trade off your pieces, right? Like when you're up material, it's great to trade off pieces so that your opponent doesn't have any sort of ideas of attacking, because you're up material and you can win an endgame. But this is the middle of the game. And Paul Morphy is not up material, so he has to make compensation for it, which he does get with the idea of an attack, right? And so I saw this move 11. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping that you can find where this is going, right? I originally calculated here, and then long castles was my idea. But in the game, we actually see knight to d7, and like the knight b to d7. And so then I was like, okay. But, you know, what's Gotham Chess's saying? PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece, right? So how can we do this? Oh, long castle, 0-0-0 if you didn't get the pun. Right, so you're putting pressure on the pinned piece. And so yeah, and so now you need to find, after he plays rook to d8, to fortify this knight, how can we go about our attack? My move, again, pause it, because here's a critical point. This is the whole idea of the puzzle. There are 2 moves that work. My move was rook to d2, and it's fine. Rook to d2, rook to d3, or rook to d5 even. Although I don't think well, rook to d5 is actually the second best move. I would have played rook to d2. It's a little bit passive, I guess, but the idea of simply just doubling up rooks is great, but there's a much stronger move, and it's with a bit more pizzazz, if you will. Okay, so did you find it? Another try would have been bishop takes here, and they can take here, and this still works, but you have to find the right set of moves for this to work. And also too, I just want to point out, notice how he's constructed all these pieces. This is pinned. This is pinned. Like, this can't really do anything. I mean, it is a battery, yes, but like, I mean, the queen's in front, and it's not really lining up with anything but the side of the board. So anyway, Paul Morphy plays this brilliant move, bishop takes, right? It looks like we're just going to be losing a bishop after they take back. And so they take back, and I'm sure in their minds, the Duke of Brunswick, the Count Isourde, they're like, what is this guy doing? We're up so much material. They might be thinking like, oh, we're screwed, or maybe they're like, this guy's horrible. He can't be that good. But so anyway, you might have seen this, and now you need to kind of see the follow up. So I did see the next move, and it's rook to d1, PP on the PP, right? Put pressure on the pin piece. But by now you should be able to see where this is going, and you're kind of wondering to yourself, is there a way for black to stop checkmate? How does black do it? Well, the next move black plays is e6, right? That seems like a good move. He's finally getting this bishop active. He's maintaining this threat, the knight's unpinned, and so forth. And my first idea was here, right? That's my first idea. So go ahead, make your move, because this is actually what Paul Morphy plays. However, I failed to realize that the knight was unpinned during this, right? So they're able to take back with the knight. So how do you continue? It's mate in 2. You should pause it. This is a great puzzle. It's mate in 2. Paul Morphy played this astounding move. Queen sacrifice, queen to b8 check. And now there's nothing Duke of Brunswick or Count Isourde can do. They can't stop it. They take with the knight, but you have this killer bishop coming in here and checkmating the king on move number 17. Yeah. So what a game. It's one of the most famous chess games. I'm going to keep doing more and more famous games, but probably about every week or so, weekly intervals. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is much shorter than some of my previous ones, so hopefully it's an easier form and content to watch. And I really do hope that you guys learned something through these, because these are some of the best, playing Guess the Move, studying these master games, understanding why they made the moves they make is one of the best ways to improve at chess. So as always, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.